Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome. Okay, let's wait till some people come on board here, and then we will get started. Okay. Hello, altars. Welcome. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. It is great to have you. Great to have you. So, today, we're going to do what we've been doing the last couple of days and having some fun and telling a great Torah story and learning a lot of different things. And we're going to see a bunch of different stuff. So the first thing that we're going to look at, is, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go look at a fun place here in Mitzpeh Yericho, part of my house. Remember, every day we look at something about Mitzpeh Yericho. Do you remember a couple of days ago we learned about the red house, the red building there? That's an office. And then yesterday we learned about the area right behind my house with all the dirt that they flattened out and they made into an area. Today, we're going to look at something that I love, and I'm the only one in all of Israel to have this in my house. I'm the only person. There's no one else in Israel that has this. Now, if you go to other places in the world, like a country called Scotland, or places in America, they have these all over. But in Israel, nobody really uses them. So I'm the only one that has one. Do you guys want to see what it is? I didn't hear you. Do you want to see what it is? Okay, but to go and look at it, we're going to have to go with the camera. We're going to have to go somewhere. So let's go. You ready? You can see behind me my neighbor's houses. This isn't so smart because I'm walking backwards, and that's not always so safe. But let's go. And if you look over here, we have the area that we learned about yesterday and the new houses, and my neighbor's house is behind me. Let's walk over here and see what we have. And this is what we have over here. It looks like a patch of grass. But if we look carefully on the grass, we'll see something very, very interesting. Do you see that little white stick sticking up? Well, that's actually what's called a golf tee. And here is a place where I can go and play a game called golf. And nobody else in Israel has this in their house or really has a place called a driving range where you can play golf. And I'll stand here and I will play golf and hit the golf ball all the way out there with my golf clubs. And that's what I'll do. I'll have golf balls and I'll hit the golf. Now you might ask, wait a minute, if you're hitting golf balls all the way out here, who gets the balls? Well, here's the cool thing. I tell all the children in our neighborhood that if they want, they can go out into that field that we learned about yesterday and they can pick up the golf balls, and I give them a coin that's worth money. And if they take enough golf balls and they have enough coins, then what they can do is they can go to the store here in our town and they can buy themselves a treat. Isn't that cool? So in my house, I have a place where I can play golf, and sometimes my son and I will play golf, or my other children and I will play golf, or sometimes a friend will come over and play golf, and we can play golf together in my house. So that's what I wanted to show you, that in Mitzpeh Yericho, in our town, which doesn't have a lot of games to play, like it has parks and things. Maybe one day we'll look at one of the parks. But what it does have is it has its own place to play golf in my house. And I wanted to show you that because I wanted to show you where I live and some of the things that I love where I live. And today, nowadays, because of the reason that we're all in our houses, I get to spend a lot more time in my house, which means I got to play a lot more games with my kids, including golf. Okay, that is today's fun part about where I live. Does anybody remember the name of where I live, what it's called? Let me say it again slowly, and this way you can remember. It's called Mitzpeh Yericho, and that's a small little town in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so now it's time for our story. And this is one of our favorite times, right? When we get to have a story from different places in the Torah. So far, we've been getting our story from places in the Gemara. And today's story is somebody by the name of Rav Ada bar Ahava. Rav Ada bar Ahava. Now, yesterday we learned a story about somebody named Rav Abba with a bet. This is Rav Ada with a dalid. A bet makes a ba sound, and a dalid makes a duh sound. So this is Rav Ada. Bar means the son of. Ahava. Ahava means like love. So he was Rav Ada, the son of Ahava. And let me tell you a story about him, okay? Rav Ada lived here in Eretz Yisrael, and this is something really, really interesting. Hashem would do very special things for Rav Ada that Hashem didn't do for that many other people, okay? He did very, very, very special things. One of the ways here in Eretz Yisrael that Hashem tells us that we're doing the mitzvot the way we're supposed to, and we're learning Torah the way we're supposed to, and we're davening to Hashem the way we're supposed to, the way that Hashem tells us is He sends rain. When it rains in other places in the world, that's just the way the weather works. But in Eretz Yisrael, when it rains, it's Hashem telling us, look, I'm giving you water for your fields so the vegetables will grow. And that's how we know when Hashem says, I love what you're doing the right thing. But sometimes we don't do the right thing. And sometimes if we don't do the right thing, it doesn't rain. And if it doesn't rain, we get very sad, because that's Hashem telling us, look, if you're not going to do the mitzvot, I'm not going to give you water for your fields. And if we don't get water for our fields, we don't have any yummy vegetables or no apples or fruits to eat. We don't have apples, we don't have strawberries, we're not going to have potatoes. All the things that we love to eat, even like cauliflower and broccoli, we're not going to have. So then we have to do teshuvah. We have to say to Hashem, oh Hashem, I realize I might have made somebody feel bad. Or Hashem, I didn't listen to my parents. And then I say, Hashem, I promise I'm going to change. And if Hashem sees we change, then Hashem will send the rain. So when it rains here, do you remember the other week if you were watching? Right, last week at the end of the week, it started to rain in the middle of the show. And we weren't upset, we weren't sad, because rain in Eretz Yisrael is called Gishmei Bracha. It's called rain of blessing, like a bracha, like a good thing. It's a rain of bracha, and we love the rain of bracha. So when it rains here, we're not sad. Do you know there's a song that people sing in some places in the world, like in America, they sing a song called "Rain, Rain, Go Away, Come Back Another Day"? We don't sing that. We always sing, "Give us rain, give us rain, give us rain," because that's when we know that we're doing the mitzvot the right way. Okay, so one time it didn't rain when Rav Ada was living, and the people went to Rav Ada and they said, listen, I said, Rav Ada, you can do special things. Sometimes Hashem does nisim, He does miracles for you. We need Hashem to do a miracle for us, and we need you to have it done. So Rav Ada, we need you to dive into Hashem for a nace, for a miracle, so that the rain should come down. We want the rain to come down. Can you dive into Hashem and make sure that the rain comes down? So Rav Ada said, okay. He went to his house, he got his sitter out, and he was about to start davening, and he said, you know what? This is a very sad time. It's a sad time because we don't have rain. And when it's a sad time, what we should do is we just like when people are sad and they take off their shoes sometimes. So I'm going to take off my shoe to show that I understand that it's a really, really sad time now. So Rav Ada sat down and he took off his shoe, and it started to drizzle. That was enough. Everybody looked, and they couldn't believe it. All he did was take off his shoe. But Rav Ada taking off his shoe meant something really important. It meant that he understood, and Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, understood that this was very serious, and Hashem was telling us, you have to daven and you have to change. So Rav Ada sat there and he looked outside, it started to drizzle, but it wasn't enough rain. Bnei Yisrael needed a lot of rain. There was a drought, there wasn't enough rain. So Rav Ada had to really daven. So he got ready to daven. He said, you know what? I'm going to take off my other shoe and really sit here. And by the time he took off his other shoe, it started to pour rain. Pouring, like the skies opened up. And water fell and fell and fell. And there was enough water for all the fields as if it had been raining the entire time. That's how amazing it was. Rav Ada, all he had to do was take off his shoes. Now, you might ask, how could taking off your shoes show that you're going to do the mitzvot? And this is what Rav Ada taught us. That sometimes all you have to do is show that you understand that you have to change and that you did something wrong, and then Hashem will help us. And that's what Rav Ada was showing us. That he understood that by taking off his shoes, he was saying, Hashem, look, I know how bad we've been. And I know how we haven't been doing the mitzvot the way we're supposed to. And I know that we have to change. But Hashem, please send us rain. And Hashem saw, just by Rav Ada taking off his shoes, and by all the Jewish people watching, and having their hopes that Rav Ada could do it, that the Jewish people recognized they did something wrong. And sometimes for us, we also have to do that. Sometimes we have to do that ourselves. Sometimes we have to go to other people and show other people that we've hurt their feelings. It's not enough just for us to say we're sorry, but we have to show them we understand that what we did wasn't right. And just by showing them that, and that's what Rav Ada did when he took off his shoes. But that's not the real story I want to tell you. That was the introduction to tell you about Rav Ada. Here's the real story. You guys ready? This is the real story. Okay? Here's the real story. One time there was a house, and the house wasn't built the right way. It wasn't built the right way. It wasn't built strong, and it wasn't built to make sure that wind wouldn't knock it over. The house was built in a very poor way, and it looked like it was going to come crashing down. But inside the house, a big Talmid Chacham named Rav Huna had some really valuable things that were worth a lot of money inside, including all of his wine for the entire year for Kiddush. The whole year's worth of wine inside this house. And Rav Huna was worried. He said, if I go inside the house and I try to take things out and a big wind comes, it can collapse on top of me and I'll get very hurt. So I can't do that. So what should I do? And he's looking at the house and he's trying to figure it out. And then he sees, walking down the street, is Rav Ada Bar Ahava, the Rav we just talked about, who just took off his shoes. And he said, I know. Rav Ada Bar Ahava can go into the house and Hashem would never let it fall on him. Ever let it fall on him. This is my plan. I'm going to tell Rav Ada Bar Ahava to go inside the house and tell him to wait inside the house. And when he's waiting inside the house, I'm going to tell him just to wait right here, and I'll bring everything out of the house. And then when Rav Ada Bar Ahava comes out of the house, then the house will fall. So Rav Ada Bar Ahava was coming close, and Rav Huna went over to him and said, Rav Ada Bar Ahava, am I happy to see you? And he said, what can I do for you? Because Rav Ada Bar Ahava was always looking to help people. And Rav Huna said, I have a favor to ask you. could you do me a favor? I'm going to be bringing a lot of things out of this house. I have to move out of the house. It's not a good house for me anymore. Could you stand right inside the house and make sure nobody takes anything? Rav Barava says, that's all you need? Maybe I can help you move stuff out of the house. And he says, no, don't go out of the house. Because he knew if he went out of the house, maybe that's when the house would fall. You have to promise me you're not going to leave the house. So Rav said, okay, no problem. Just stand inside the house. So Rav Barava went inside the house. He sat down. He took out a sefer to learn. And he started learning Torah. And he was learning Torah. And the whole time he's learning Torah, Rav Huna is schlepping wine bottles out of the house and boxes of wine and different things. And the whole time Rav Huna says, what a plan. This was perfect. What a great plan. Now the house isn't going to fall. I'm going to be able to take everything out of the house. This was a perfect idea. Rav Barava is sitting there learning. And finally Rav Huna gets everything out of the house. Rav Barava actually feels horrible because he didn't help at all. He wanted to help Rav Huna bring stuff out of the house. And Rav Huna made him promise he wouldn't leave the house. So what was he going to do? So then Rav Huna gets everything out of the house. He's got every single thing out of the house. And then he says, Rav Barava, thank you so much for helping me. Come out of the house now. So Rav Barava walks out of the house. And the minute he stepped far enough away from the house, the whole house collapsed. The whole thing broke down. All the wood and everything for the house went all over the place. And Rav Barava was, oh my God, what happened? Rav Huna says, the house collapsed right away, right when you left, just like I knew it would. So he says, what do you mean just like you knew it would? So Rav Huna told him the real story. He said, look, somebody came by the house and they told me this house is going to collapse any minute. It wasn't built the right way. I didn't know what to do. And I had all this stuff to take out of the house. And I knew if the house collapsed, it wouldn't happen. So Rav Barava, I know Hashem does nisim for you all the time. He does miracles for you all the time. So what I did was, I took everybody out of the house. And I took everybody out. I took everything out of the house, and I put you in the house because I knew Hashem would make sure there was a nace and you would never get hurt. Rav Barava was very upset. He said, Rav Huna, that was not right what you did. And Rav Huna says, what do you mean? What was wrong? Well, I took everything out of the house, I put you in. He says, we're not allowed to think that there's going to be a nace. We're not allowed to do that. The rabbis taught us, Ein somchin al hanes. We don't assume there's going to be a miracle. We can't do that. And you put me inside the house, a house that was dangerous, and you assumed there was going to be a miracle. You thought Hashem's for sure going to do a nace. That was very dangerous. What if Hashem wouldn't do the nace? And Rav Huna said, Rav Barava, you're right. You're 100% right. I should not have done that. And Rav Barava, I am sorry for doing that to you. He said, you should be sorry. You put me in a lot of danger. But you know what, Rav Huna? I forgive you. But on one condition, you have to promise never to do that again. And Rav Huna said, you're right. And today, it's the same thing nowadays. Think about what we're doing. We're staying inside our houses, and we're not playing with our friends, and we're not going to school, and we're not going to the Beit Knesset, we're not going to shul, and we're not praying with a minyan anymore. And why? Why can't we just say, of course Hashem's going to protect us. Of course Hashem's going to do everything for us. We don't have to worry. Hashem, if we go to shul and we go to school to learn Torah, Hashem will make sure nothing bad happens to us. All these things that the doctors are telling us, we don't have to listen to them. No! We can't think that way. That would be very, very wrong. Hashem doesn't want us to think that way. Hashem tells us, don't assume, don't think for sure, don't rely that I'm going to do a nace. You can't think that way, because maybe Hashem won't. So we have to listen to the doctors, and we have to listen to the experts, and we have to listen to our moras and our menahels, our principals and our teachers and our parents who tell us, don't go out of the house. Don't go to shul. Don't go to school. Because we have to listen to them. Because we do what's right. Wasn't that an amazing story about Rav Ada bar Abba? That was really 2 stories in one day. Now I want to show you something special that I have. And this is something special that I wear every single day. It's not my watch that I showed you yesterday, right? Or the other day. It's not my watch that I got from my grandfather. It's not my shirt. My shirt's not that special. Nothing special about my shirt. But today I want to show you something special. It's my kippah. We all the boys wear a kippah. Now, why do we wear a kippah? Why do we have a kippah on our head? It's a strange thing. Nobody else wears a kippah. We go out to the store, right? It's only the Jewish boys and the Jewish men that are wearing kippot. What's so special about our kippah? But our kippah is very, very special. It's so special, and I'll tell you why. Because when we wear a kippah, we remember that not everything is up to us. Sometimes we think we can control everything, but it's not true. It's not true. Hashem controls everything. And when I wear my kippah, and I put it on in the morning, and I put my kippah in the morning, and I think to myself, Hashem is really in control. And I keep my kippah on to remind myself of that. And I wear it the whole day to always remember that Hashem is in control. And if I go out into the street and there's people there that don't wear a kippah, I'm not embarrassed to have my kippah on. I'm very happy and I'm proud to have my kippah on, because my kippah tells me that I am a Jew who believes in Hashem. And that's why I have a kippah on. That's why I wear it. So it's something very, very special for me. And if you wear a kippah, you should be very proud of your kippah. Okay, that was my thing that I wanted to show you today, was my kippah. And before we end today, because we're coming to the close of our show today, I wanted to introduce you to somebody very special to me. Every day, I've been introducing you to one of my children. On the first day, we met Gila. And on the second day, we met Tova. And we met Moshe, my son. Today, we're going to meet Tamima. Tamima is my second child. She's my second child, and she's my daughter. Tamima.
Hello.
This is Tamima. How old do you think
everyone.
Tamima is? Do you think Tamima's 10 years old?
No.
No, she's not 10 years old. Do you think she's 35 years old?
Maybe.
No, that's very old. Tamima's not 35. Tamima, how old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Tamima, are you in 11th grade?
No, I finished high school.
Tamima finished high school already. Do you know that Tamima, when she finished high school, she said, what am I going to do now with my life? I finished high school. So some people, they go and they say, I'm going to have fun. I'm done with school. That's it. No more tests. Not Tamima. Tamima did something called Sherut Le'umi. That's something that we have here in Israel, where you can go ahead and you can go to the country. You don't get to meet with the prime minister. You don't get to meet with Bibi Netanyahu. But you meet with somebody that works for him. And you say, I want to help out. How can I help out? And last year, Tamima helped out. She worked in a school, a lot like your school, and she taught some classes, and she did fun programs for all the students. And then this year, she went into a different school, and she sleeps in the same building as a lot of the students. They sleep over in this school. A lot of you probably don't sleep over in your school, but you probably want to. That would be a lot of fun to have a sleepover in your classroom. But these students don't sleep in their classroom. They sleep in a special building where they have beds and kitchens and places where they can make food. And Tamima's there to help them. And that's how she helps people in Israel. And Tamima had a question. Tamima, what was the question that you had that you wanted to ask us?
Okay, my question today, Alva, for you is, we daven every single day, and now we can't daven with a minion. Now we can't daven with a minion anymore, but we daven every single day to Hashem. Do you really think that Hashem could get rid of the coronavirus?
Oh, Tamima, that's a good question. Could Hashem really get rid of the virus? And the answer, Tamima, is yes. Hashem can get rid of the virus because Hashem can do anything. But it's not like Hashem is going to come one day and say, abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, there's no more virus in the world. That's not what's going to happen. Hashem is going to give doctors a lot of things to think about. He's going to make them very smart, and they're going to come up with a medicine. And the doctors are going to give us all the medicine. We're going to take that medicine, and it's going to make sure that nobody gets sick from the virus anymore. And right now, there are a lot of doctors working very hard on trying to find that medicine. And as soon as they find that medicine, Tamima, that's how Hashem's going to help us. But Tamima, let's say you're not a doctor, and I'm not a doctor. So what can we do? How can we go ahead and help if we had, what do we do? So here's what we should do, Tamima. Every day, every time we daven, we should daven to Hashem that doctors find the medicine and come up with the medicine to be able to help the people that are sick and stop people from getting sick. So that's what we should daven for. And every day we should daven for people that are sick, because there are people that are sick. And we should daven that they get better, they have a refuah shalema, and we can just ask Hashem, Hashem, please heal all the people, make them feel better, and make sure nobody else gets the virus. Okay, teams?
Thank you very much, Abba.
Thanks, and that's the end of our show, guys. So, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be on back tomorrow. Bye, everybody.